Hello, my friends. In Genesis chapter 16, Sarai, Abram's wife, had this so-called brilliant idea to give Hagar, her handmaiden, her servant, to Abram to bear a child, the promised child. Well, it was the custom of that day and time for, if a woman was barren, to give the handmaiden to the husband. But this was not God's plan. In fact, we see in Galatians chapter 4 that Paul says that Ishmael, this child by Hagar, was the son of the flesh, but Isaac, the son of Sarah that was coming, would be the son of the spirit. And so he uses the difference here in this comparison. This was not God's will. So it was 10 years after that they entered the land. Abram would be now 85 and Sarai would be 75. And so it looked hopeless. Well, they had this child named Ishmael. And Ishmael would become a great nation. We'll talk about that later. But in chapter number 17, God again revealed himself to Abram and Sarah. And he changed their names. He changed Abram, which meant exalted father, to Abraham, which meant father of a multitude. So every time he heard his name, it would remind him, I'm going to be the father of a multitude. And Sarai's name was changed to Sarah, which was princess. And also he gave him a covenant of circumcision, which they were committed to each other and to God's promises. Now, friends, I want to say to you that sometimes it seems like your promise will never come to pass. In fact, in chapter number 17, and when we get to chapter number 18, we find this is 24 years after the initial promise that God was going to make him a nation. And God didn't talk to him every day about this, but it was periodically God would come back. And I say to you, friends, that God has given you, I'm sure, promises, and you may be impatient. Don't try to work those promises out in your own thinking, in your own way, in your own wisdom, in your own desire. Let God do it. Now, there are times God uses us to fulfill his word and promise. But I say to you, we've got to be very careful not to get impatient with God and allow him to do the work and to bring the promises his way. The miracle. God wants to bring a miracle to your life. Don't get impatient. He is at work. God bless you. And we'll see you. We're gonna work through the weekend, and so I encourage you to tune in tomorrow. We're gonna through this year continue on Saturday and Sunday because we want to stay on schedule with this teaching. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow as we look at 19, 20, and 21. Bye bye.